Mysterium ICO. Mysterium Good Investment. Mysterium Cryptocurrency. To the moon. Mysterium Decentralized VPN. Mysterium Virtual Private Network. Private Network. Mysterium Bitcoin. Mysterium Good Investment. Should I invest in Mysterium? Is Mysterium a good coin? Mysterium coin. Mysterium cryptocurrency. Mysterium. Mysterium. Mysterium coin. Mysterium coin. Mysterium coin. Mysterium coin.
This is nothing new. It's a complete yawn fest. People who are new to Forks are getting all FOMO. People are blowing up my DMs. People are like, yo, what's going on with this Bitcoin Cash, this Bitcoin stuff? Guys. I've seen this for many years. This is nothing new. It's a complete yawn fest. I'm like yawning, and people are like blowing up my Twitters.
I've been telling you guys this for years. You guys know. I've been with Dogecoin forever, guys. Yeah, with Doge. That's not Doge. We doing that down with Doge. That's not Doge. Watch me get Doge. Cause you're my Doge. Doing that down with Doge. Down with Doge. Well, guys, you know I love the Dogecoin. I mean, it's Dogecoin. You guys know it.
What was that? Perfect. God. Oh God.
What is happening?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to DC TV. My name is Brad. You got the real Daily Lord off to my left. You also have Tamp down on the bottom of the screen there. What's up, guys? Good morning.
What up?
How we doing?
Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. And for those of you watching, I hope you did as well. Checking in on the indexes right now. Look at the S&P. It's down just slightly, about 28 points. The Dow's down 179. NASDAQ is down 75. WTI crude is sitting at $74 a barrel, which is crazy. It's still continuing to come down. And looking at Bitcoin as well, it's at 16,199. That's down 349 points or 2.11% this morning. So a little bit of a sell-off after the holiday and after Black Friday. I think there were some people that were really kind of let down on the hype and excitement surrounding around consumer shopping over the Black Friday. What is it? It's not a holiday. Shopping day, I guess. And so that could be a reason as to why we're seeing things a little bit depressed this morning. But how you all feeling right now?
I feel like I don't need any more freaking TVs, tell you that. So I bet a bunch of other people are doing the same thing. They're like, yo, you see that new TV? They're like, dog, I have 4. I'm good.
Right. Right. Yeah. And, I remember the days where, I guess, does this still happen? Maybe I just need to do a little bit more research. Do people still like fight each other for Cabbage Patch Kids and shit?
Right.
Sure.
I don't know, but that's absolutely depraved.
Well, yeah, of course. But it's like it's an American tradition to just beat somebody else's mom up for a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Well, yeah, that's the whole plot of Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you're not watching holiday movies yet, I recommend you pop the cork to that one. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad.
I was gonna say, oh my God, Sinbad. Is that guy still kicking? Is he still?
He's
alive?
kicking.
R.I.P.
That's what I thought.
No, he's kicking. He's just not here.
What's your favorite holiday movie?
Die Hard.
Ooh,
True.
okay.
That is arguably a holiday movie. It is a Christmas movie.
It is a
I
Christmas
disagree.
movie.
It's an action movie that takes place during Christmas time.
Listen,
Wow.
he shoots.
This is always a huge debate.
That's
Anytime I
Jingle All
bring
the
this
Way
up,
as well, I
you
suppose.
get in big fights when this happens.
Um,
I would be interested. You should poll that. Is Die Hard
I
a
got it.
Christmas movie or is Die Hard an action movie that takes
Yes.
place during Christmas time?
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't be that long-winded, but just is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes or no? Plain and simple.
Jingle All the Way is my jam, though, specifically because he's like, Jamie, no!
Jingle All the Way is a good one. I would say it's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for me. I can't watch that movie without laughing about the next scene that's coming. That's when you know it's a good movie. So I haven't watched it yet, but it's coming. Let us know in the comments what you guys love watching during the holidays. And we do have some really interesting topics coming up today. Sam Bankman-Fried drama continues, and we're going to continue to see more things unfold. But right now it's with the government and the Bahamian government in particular. And that is just going to... He just gives us so much good shit to talk about. Now he's also coming out and talking to the the New York Times. Andrew Ross Sorkin, he's going to have an interview with him later on this week. I believe it's this week or next week. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit. Also, Kanye West going after Balenciaga. That is going to be a very interesting conversation that I hope a lot of you guys stick around for as well as so many other there's so many news items that happen between Thanksgiving and now that we have to cover. We might not cover all of them, but we're going to get to as many as we can, guys. So make sure you're hanging around. I did want to check out and show you guys the Bitcoin chart right now. Looks like we're still trending down to that 13,800 mark. As I'd mentioned at the top of the show, 16,100 is where we're at right now. This is your fib chart here. Now down below the lower Fibonacci chart, sitting at 16,100, and I think that 13,800 mark is looking more and more like a distinct probability. Tamp and Brandon.
Downward Doge.
Yeah, I think we're going down. Yeah, we're definitely going another leg down.
Yeah,
I don't see how that doesn't happen.
I think that this could potentially just be a slow grind down, though. I mean, a lot of people are speculating like that maybe there's something else big that could happen, and that, of course it is. But I think that what could actually end up taking place is just this slow grind all the way down to 13.8 before we see some sort of pop.
Yeah.
Just my thoughts. Obviously, it's anybody's guess because nobody can really truly accurately predict the bottom. But this is about as close as I think we're gonna get. Is at 13.8.
I can kind of guess something that could change it if everyone bought like a Ledger Nano and put their money on those, then we wouldn't see whaling happen so much. Because
We are seeing like a huge influx of cold wallets being bought up right now, and it's
yeah.
it's
Good.
great to see. It's great to see, but it is a crazy amount of cold wallets being bought up.
Yeah, and I suppose that being said too, we've had so many people ask about these, like, ledgers, like, hey, how can I get one? So we worked with Ledger. We have an affiliate link now in our description. So if ever you or a friend wants to get a ledger, it's actually a great holiday gift. Hook up your family with some way for them to actually preserve their long-term wealth. It's probably no better gift. So
yeah,
no doubt.
Link out in our description.
Shout out Brandon for hooking us up with that. So make sure you guys, if you want to support the channel a little bit more and you don't have a ledger yet, go ahead and just buy it through us. We certainly would appreciate it.
And the next question, just to butt in, the next question is usually going to be, what ledger do I get? And just check their official website. They give really good descriptions. The bottom line is you want either wired or wireless, and how much storage you want. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Yeah,
absolutely. So thanks so much, guys, for that. We certainly appreciate it. And now let's go ahead and just get into it. So our WTF news of the day.
Oof. This one's rough.
Have you guys seen this Balenciaga news? This is crazy.
It's Balenciaga.
Sorry. So there's been this huge scandal with Balenciaga, and now Kanye West is calling them out. And he says that the Balenciaga scandal is proof that Hollywood celebrities are muzzled and speaking of silence. He thinks that Elon Musk and Alex Jones should break this. This is according to TMZ. The rapper was leaving a Messianic church Saturday, where he was met with a small crush of haps who were ready to record him, but not question him at all. Instead, KW just started to speak freely about his anti-Semitism scandal, fall from grace, among other issues, and then happened to talk about this. If you guys aren't familiar with what's going on in this scandal, Balenciaga is under fire right now for really kind of some racy child like creepy shit that's happening.
It's child porn leaning.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't naked out the kids. The kids are closed, but my God, their surroundings are pretty rough. I wouldn't let my nephews be in these pictures.
Yeah, this is an ad. This is an ad from Balenciaga. You can see that this doll, whatever, is like all bondaged up. It's really fucking creepy.
There's
it's
wine
like
all on the table.
Chains, bullshit.
It's usually a lot of the bears, because I look, there's a couple of ads with little boys and girls, and these are little kids. And there's alcohol references, there's bondage references everywhere, there's abuse references everywhere. A lot of the bears have one black eye and one normal eye. There's tape everywhere. There's BAAL for Balenciaga. That's not how you spell Balenciaga, but there's all kind of stuff that have Balenciaga spelled that way. BAAL is another term for the devil, like for Satan. Yeah. And that's everywhere. There's white rabbits everywhere. I mean, that's getting a little QAnon-ish, but that is also a child porn symbol at this point because of QAnon. There's white rabbits everywhere. I mean, this is not okay. And Balenciaga took a major fire over the last few days for these ads. Kim Kardashian, who her and Kanye West, when they were married, were big advocates for Balenciaga. Kanye got canceled by Balenciaga. They have done collabs with Adidas, which is why we're going to bring this up.
Balenciaga has.
Yes, Balenciaga and Adidas are in collaboration. And Ye's not part of Balenciaga anymore, but Kim Kardashian is. And after days of silence, she finally came out last night and basically says, as a mother, I was extremely disturbed by this. It's not okay. But Balenciaga has responded to me and we'll see where it goes. Instead of just straight up condemning this.
Yeah.
She condemned it softly. She said, this is not okay, but I'm looking forward to their reactions and how this works. Now, the issue with this and how does Bitcoin come into all this is that Balenciaga and Adidas have have collabs together. And Kanye West says something that people don't like. Adidas doesn't like. And Adidas freezes his bank account, multi-billion-dollar bank account, freezes it, can't use his money. Yet an Adidas collab site like Balenciaga actually releases child porn leaning ads. Who's getting frozen there?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
getting
the
frozen
standard's
there?
not uniformly applied is the issue here. And so we're not saying that like Bitcoin solves the problem of people, doing sketchy things with kids. We're not saying that. We're saying simply that like if one social sin is okay and the other social sin's not okay, you're basically turning blind eyes to certain parts of culture and using money as a weapon to basically keep your pet project safe and to harm the other ones. And that's the issue.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
just
This is absolutely disturbing.
Oh, yeah.
Just to kind of even just seeing some of these pictures in general. One image, a ginger-haired little girl sported a T-shirt from the brand while holding a strap connected to a white bear, which was in a vest with a padlock choker around its neck. And another, a brunette child, donned a blue outfit while clutching a purple plush animal, which was sporting a similar BDSM attire. I just gotta like, who thought this was a good idea? And who thought it was a good idea to actually publicize this in a way that where they thought that the general public would accept
I can
this?
answer that.
Yeah.
Literally some Hollywood type who has no understanding of what the real world looks like and normalizes sexualization of children because Hollywood does that.
Yeah, and I mean, I can tell you too. Her name's like Loretta or something. It's a Lotta Volkova or something is her name. She's since made her Instagram private, so you can't get on it. But she's been the head fashion design, the fashion lead of Balenciaga for a long time. She is known for grotesque, bad imagery all over her Instagram account. A little kid this age in a field with their guts spread all over the grass. A little kid, clearly a little kid's room, blood all over the bed, blood all on the floor with clothes everywhere. Her in all red holding two Satan all red babies.
Yeah.
Her eating, saying that she's a cannibal and that this is human meat that she's eating. Like these are the type of things that she makes public, as her own Instagram page. And whether it's true or not, she does it all in the name of art. But I'm not going to sit here and say you can live a life like that and not be somewhat there mentally.
Saying the
right?
quiet part out loud. Yeah.
Right. You can't just be one way all the time and then on game day show up and be a different person. Right. Like if you are late all the time, don't tell me when it matters you will show up. No, you won't. You are who you are. So don't tell me that you're one way on social media and then totally different in real life. You might be fabricating your life on social media and showing it as better, than it really is, but your mentality is still there. Right? Like you might not live in Tahiti and party with all these people. You might be some nasty little dude, behind a keyboard, but your mentality is still there. So don't tell me that you're one way on the internet and a totally different way in real life. That's true to a degree, but your mentality is there. So it's nasty.
Yeah, and thank you for that. There's a nuance to be made too. Specifically, this is an ad campaign by an ad agency, and so Balenciaga is suing them. The question, of course, is like when you get into like companies, like I could be part of a company, and someone else could be part of a company that I also help with, but I'm not technically part of that company. That's kind of my question of like how interwoven is the company that did the ad campaign that they're suing? Is that just sort of a facade to?
Oh, hell yeah. There's no such thing as an ad campaign that goes to print on a national ad without getting the okay from somebody. I mean,
Correct.
I make proofs of my business cards before they are sent to just me, much less a national ad campaign. You're telling me no one at Balenciaga okayed this?
They did. And it's so funny that you bring this up because I saw the documentary of the Pepsi and the Harrier Jet kid. Did you guys see that?
Mm-mm.
So remember the points that you could get from drinking Pepsi?
Yeah.
And so there was a commercial about that, about what you could have, and at the end of the commercial, you could get a Harrier jet for 7 million points. Well, it turns out it was only $700,000 worth of points to get a Harrier jet that cost 32 million bucks, and there was no
We've all done it.
disclaimer. There was no disclaimer that said that you couldn't do it, or that it was a joke or whatever. So the guy like took him to court and all this other stuff. But anyways, the ad agency like even told Pepsi to you know, that they shouldn't just make it 7 million. They should make it more than that, something that's unattainable because it's a joke. And they didn't, because they claimed that it was easier to read. But my point is that Pepsi knew about the 7 million points. They knew about the ad. They had to go through all the chief marketing officer and everything else to approve this. So
Yeah.
this isn't something that just gets overlooked by Balenciaga either. They're also on the hook for this.
Oh yeah, man. And this is child damn porn. I mean, leave the little kids out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to act like an adult and be an idiot as an adult and ruin your own life, that's one thing. But my God, protect the little kids.
Yep. Amen.
Yeah. Anyways, that is your WTF news of the day. Can't get more what the fuck than that.
For real.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not like a funny WTF either. But what is a funny WTF is Die Hard is, by unanimous decree, yee 75% a holiday movie.
Nope.
It
Nope.
is.
Yee.
Yes, it is. It's for sure a holiday movie. All right. By the way, guys, let us know where you're watching from. Let's do a little bit of a roll call. What corner of the world are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. And we'll get on to the next topic here. We'll get into some crypto related stuff. We do have Sam Bankman-Fried, more drama there coming up in just a moment. But Brandon, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on over in Russia and Putin calling for blockchain-based international payment systems. Apparently, he is criticizing Western sanctions. No shit. And urged for a system independent of external interference. So this obviously, he's talking about something in because of what's being happened to him. But we all know that somebody like Putin would be in favor of a more centralized type of network. But
Yeah.
you know, this is all very interesting. So go ahead and expand on this a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, sure. So Putin specifically stated that he wants a centralized exchange, like basically a Russian centralized exchange, but they are looking at different, coin setups. What I think it will happen is I think most, sovereign nations had this idea that, well, we can just make our own sovereign cryptocurrency. It's blockchain based, but maybe we can collaborate with some other countries to have it be, multinational functionally. So, I mean, I really don't see him using a Bitcoin or a Doge, honestly. I don't see Putin go in that direction at all. But this fundamental question is important. The question is, should money be used as a weapon by, sovereign governments? That's, I think, the question. And, seeing in the 2008, big government bailouts, that's what Occupy Wall Street was kicked off by, and that's what kicked off Bitcoin, by the way. This is in the lifeblood of Bitcoin, questioning this idea that, well, government can be so tied in with these big businesses that a government can just, functionally forgive the debt and pass it on to every single taxpayer, right? So there's these high level principles of how involved should government be in our money. And I don't think anyone has an answer to that other than, Bitcoin is experimenting with that of like, hey, what country is the, sovereign owner of Bitcoin? It's like, well, no country is. I mean, you have El Salvador investing in it and DCAing 1 Bitcoin per day, but, that's different than them being able to control the supply and, decide who does and doesn't get their money honored. There's a bunch of caveats like that. So, I mean, I'm interested to hear, what both of you think about the distinction between sovereign governments and money that isn't owned by the sovereign government.
There's a lot to unpack here. A lot. First of all, this case right here that Putin's calling for is a perfect use case for Bitcoin. large purchases, extremely secure purchases. You already have quite a few countries that have declared Bitcoin as a currency in their country. And there are multiple treaties out there that basically say if a country has declared a certain thing as a currency, then it can be used for purchases of imports and exports from other countries. So right away, if Russia says, say, it's Bitcoin that we're going to use, and we declare that as a currency, if you want to buy anything from Russia and they say it has to be in Bitcoin, then it has to be in Bitcoin. That's part of it. And right now we're using Bitcoin as the example because it makes the most sense right now. But if that goes through, this is a major US issue with the petrodollar. I mean, if we can buy oil with something other than the petrodollar, that is going to have severe consequence for the US. And I'd love to get Don's thoughts on that too, because if what's to stop people other countries hate the petrodollar because it only benefits America and it's a losing game. The math on it is bad. Everybody knows that. We just kick the can down the road, and the petrodollar is exactly what has propped up our bad American economy for a very long time. So at some point, everybody's going to get sick of it. And if crypto and or Bitcoin is the answer to buy oil or anything else from other countries, that's going to cause a war. I'll tell you that right now. The U.S. is going to get pissed, throw a fit, and go to war over that. They'll blame it on something else, but you're messing with U.S. money. Yeah, you're messing with U.S. money once you allow this. So there's something to unpack there. And then the other part of this that I would want to look at is do not forget that Vitalik Buterin, who is the one of the creators of Ethereum, the largest cryptocurrency in the world, not Bitcoin, but the largest crypto in the world, he is from Russia. And it is very, very well documented that especially in ETH's early days, Vitalik and Putin sat down many, many times talking about crypto and having meetings specifically about what is cryptocurrency. This is years ago. And I don't see how Putin is exposed to crypto and Bitcoin for as long as he's been exposed to it through Vitalik to not understand the economic benefit of it. We talk about all the time. If you spend 100 hours researching Bitcoin, you already own it because it makes that much sense. And you're in the space if you understand the space because it makes that much sense to you. So there's no way that Putin and Vitalik have not spoken about something. I'm not saying that Vitalik's going to be the one to lead this, but their documented conversations absolutely has rhyme and reason as to why Putin wants crypto and or Bitcoin and blockchain when it comes to imports and exports. Straight up. So it'd be interesting to know what those conversations are.
Yeah, absolutely. And furthermore, there's also connections with like Ethereum and the World Economic Forum, and they're the basically government of governments they're trying to establish themselves as. So any tinfoil hats, you can take your tinfoil hat off. It's news.
Oh yeah, it's real.
I mean, for real though, the World Economic Forum functionally wants to be like above NATO. They want to like push a green agenda and functionally make it so you own nothing and you will be happy. That's their whole idea. They basically want to be your landlord so that you have to come to them and ask for permission for whatever you do. And Bitcoin is completely antithetical to that because Bitcoin's not about you asking permission. It's about a trustless system, right? It's about you saying, I want to do business with Brad Smith, and there's no middleman. It's just me and Brad Smith, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, we're as crypto heads, we're going to run into this over and over and over again because what we're doing is in its fabric countercultural. In its fabric, we're saying, I think you should be responsible for yourself. I don't think there should be a big daddy who's responsible for you and tells you what you can and can't do, provided you respect life, liberty, and property, right? So these are fundamental worldview shifts that aren't going to agree, and I think we have to hold the line.
Yeah, Vitalik sits on some of those boards, some sort of advisory, something, yeah, of the World Economic Forum. So this is a huge deal, and I do not see how it goes through without us going to war. I mean, and you see Russia right now courting the likes of China, courting the likes of some of the other Middle Eastern states, to move imports and exports, most specifically energy and oil, trying almost, to make their own NATO, so to speak. They're bridging things there so that they can pass back and forth imports and exports, specifically oil, without the petrodollar. And again, when you start messing with money, that it leads to war, because money is power, and that's the fall of every society, is the threat of the loss of power. So let's go to war. So there's a lot to unpack here, a lot of different ways this could go.
Yeah, I think about Bitcoin as a standalone asset. If that was the case, right? Like if that's the road that they're marching down, can't you make the argument that Bitcoin would supersede that anyway? And then and if America really felt that way, the American government really felt that way, wouldn't they just continue to try to soak up all the Bitcoin they could, as it's decentralized?
The question you have to ask is, are there sovereign actors acting in a private capacity? And I would say yes. I think they're like that. That's functionally how a lot of governments are working today. Because this actually isn't a new thing. Like George Washington, for example, was like, "Hey, I'm going to pay some corsairs, some basically people who have a private ship and they move things to and from, and I might pay them just to shoot holes in another ship conveniently, right?" Like,
Yeah.
But it wasn't the U.S. who did it. It wasn't King of England who did it. King of England wasn't messing with France, for example. Like, it was just those pirates, those dreaded pirates, even though he paid them, right? So I think that principle applies even today, where it's like, hey, private citizen, will you do this thing on our behalf but not tell anybody? Yeah, sure. And so it looks like private, but really it's people who are in government power agreeing on certain things to be done in the private sector.
Yep.
Got it.
And I mean, a lot of it depends on it. Has the USA been collecting Bitcoin or not? I mean, do we really truly have Bitcoin, in the batter's box?
Who's the USA is the other question.
Yeah. And if we don't, there's no way that the U.S. is going to let this happen without some serious threats that ultimately lead to war.
Mm-hmm. And when we say the USA, does that mean the federal government? Does that mean bureaucracy in the federal government? Does that mean private people who work in the federal government? Does that mean individual states? Like, there's a lot of ways that can be sliced up and defined.
Yeah, I would love to get Don's thoughts on this, just because what and Brad, like you too, like what the petrodollar does mean to the U.S. economy and why it's such a big deal, even though it's completely backwards math. It is all the way 2 + 2 = 5.
It means everything right now. There is no better currency to leverage right now. I mean, look at the how much the dollar is compared to every other global currency that's out there, at least in the here and now. Now, most people in government right now, that's all they care about. They're not necessarily looking towards the future like they should. But in the here and now, there is no stronger currency out there in the world than the dollar. Your dollar can go further anywhere else around the globe than any other currency.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this, because if Putin gets even just a couple of allies to use crypto and/or Bitcoin for imports exports, you're already starting to poke the bear there. You know.
Yeah.
On the silver lining though, if this happens too, it actually shows a great use case for blockchain technology, how it can help with things like imports and exports. I mean, everybody's seen a picture of a shipping yard before, a shipping port. It's literally like hundreds of thousands of containers and what's inside of those. And, it will really, really help digitize all that. So we can see exactly once the storage unit is closed and locked and tagged, if you add that to the blockchain, in what is in that container is in that container. It is a set of data that cannot be manipulated. And then, if you open up the container and that said thing is not in there, you can go back on the blockchain and see exactly what was supposed to be in there, from who, why, everything. I mean, it's a direct, point of access, and it directs you to the point of failure, which is great in terms of inventory and those sort of things. Now, the same thing can be said true though with you and your finances as an individual. There's no such thing as sovereignty when you are using a federal digital coin for payments. Every single penny you spend and every single penny you receive with that digitized asset is traceable, trackable, and exactly for what. So there's no such thing as selling a car for $10,000 and then going to the DMV and saying, "Hey, I only paid $1,000 for it, so you don't have to pay all the taxes on it." Right? Like that goes away completely. There's no such thing as going to the bank and saying, hey, I want to pull $9,000 out for this thing. And the bank not making record of that. And if you don't have said thing come audit time, maybe it's a computer or something, and you don't have that thing, well, where is it? And why did you sell it? You said it was a $9,000 piece of equipment. So there's a lot of big brother in that for the individual, but on the business end of things, especially for mega inventory like a port, it's awesome. It's perfect. So there's a lot to unpack.
There's tons. It's fundamental as the thing. And I wanted to show you too, just on that topic. So the World Economic Forum that we were talking about, they posted this back in 2018, basically showing that like proof of work with Bitcoin is bad and proof of stake, and they used Ethereum as an example, equals one guy with a bag, right? So like that's like one principled piece, but clearly the World Economic Forum is saying we are pro Ethereum with this imagery they're using here. And sorry about that. And then if you look on Ethereum's board, you see this individual, Aya. She's the executive director. And, you see Vitalik and Patrick Storchenegger. But over here on the World Economic Forum, we also see Aya as well.
There he is.
And
Executive board.
Yeah, she executive director of Ethereum Foundation, and she's over there with the World Economic Forum, appointed to the World Economic Forum's Blockchain Global Council. So basically, Ethereum and some of these individuals specifically are trying to work with the World Economic Forum to be anti-Bitcoin. They're trying to create some political pressures on like, hey, don't use electricity, you're killing the planet, and not really observing like the details of how true that is or isn't true and what other systems might be affected. They're clearly just picking and choosing and trying to say Bitcoin's bad truly because it opposes their political worldview, right? They want to say that, well, we're centralized and you have to use our systems. You own nothing. You'll be happy. And Bitcoin doesn't play that game. So
Exactly
interesting.
Yeah, it is quite the web that is getting weaved here. Not to be cliche about it, but that is awfully incestuous, if I do say so myself. Moving on. Speaking of which, we're getting into the Sam Bankman-Fried shit.
Yeah,
that just continues to be just, oh my god, I don't even know what to say. But let's go ahead and get into this because Brandon and Tam both wanted to chat about this topic in particular. So I just wanted to read this. This is from The Block. FTX's new CEO misrepresented actions taken by Bahamian authorities, says the country's AG. This is not according to anybody else other than the Bahamian government, which is starting to really, not that we didn't know already, but even more so become unreliable. So the Attorney General, Ryan Pinder, said newly appointed CEO John Ray used inaccurate allegations. He's also praised the Securities Commission of the Bahamas for responding swiftly to FTX collapse. He said that the new CEO, John Ray, misrepresented the timely actions taken by the Securities Commission and used inaccurate allegations while also defending the steps taken by the country's regulators in the aftermath of the exchange's collapse. Not like the guy hasn't done it for 40 years or anything. Tension has been building between authorities in the Bahamas and FTX's new management with the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, SCB, stating that this week that FTX's new CEO, John Ray III, made intemperate and inaccurate allegations about its treatment of FTX. This is after freezing FTX assets. This is essentially the SEC for the Bahamas, in case you guys are having trouble keeping up. In his speech, Pinder emphasized that the speed of which the Securities Commission was able to move was remarkable by any standard. Placing FTX digital markets in provisional liquidation was not sufficient to protect the customers and creditors of the company, he said. Now, I want to just preface this. I don't want to say preface, but just give my own thoughts before you guys give yours. But we literally just covered SBF running around in the Bahamas undetained, doing whatever the fuck he wants, waddling around with his book bag outside of a hotel or whatever it was, just running free after the Bahamian government told everybody that he was being detained. So who do we trust here? Are we going to trust John Ray III, who oversaw the Enron debacle and has been doing this shit for 40 years? Or the Bahamian government? You guys decide.
You tell me, man. Yeah, he's detained but uncontained.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's very elusive, SBF. He is.
And he
I know
waddled
this.
away.
Yeah. I mean,
What a mastermind.
Yeah, we'd be remiss not to bring up the fact that BitBoy Crypto went out to the Bahamas this weekend and tried to knock on SBF's door and texted
Yeah.
him multiple times and did get some acknowledgement, but no actual conversation. He actually went out there and found where SBF was, found his car and everything. So he, I'm not the biggest fan of BitBoy Crypto, but I will say this: he found SBF before any of our FBI's or authorities or the Bohemian government or anything else did. He's like the best agent ever. Like if him and Dog and the Bounty Hunter get, linked up together, they can actually solve shit.
I would watch the shit out of that show.
Yeah, I mean, like it was actually good on him for doing that. But SBF has been relatively quiet for a while now. Yet the first thing he retweets as of yesterday is the Bahamas Attorney General's tweet thread. It's like 4 or 5 tweets, and it's basically whitewashing the Bahamas and SBF the same way that the U.S. media is doing it. Yeah. It's just such a soft landing pad for this kid, and he's so well insulated due to his connections. It's one of two things happens. He either gets absolutely nothing because he is so well insulated, talking about SBF, or he gets Epsteined. He gets offed. And I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. The only way that actually happens if this sucker really does show up on Wednesday to this conference that he's supposed to be speaking at. That you referenced it on Friday's thread.
Yeah,
that he's supposed to be in New York. There's no way that sucker goes to New York. There's no way that is not a serious safety issue.
Andrew, he's being interviewed by Andrew Ross Sorkin, the anchor of Squawk Box on CNBC in New York.
We'll have to see.
Is he going to be on stage is the question, full of a live audience.
Yeah, because as of this weekend, he was still in the Bahamas. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he might not get interviewed, but that is a massive security issue.
Oh, I don't disagree with that.
There's absolutely no way he's just allowed to show up there and pop around. There will be so many people showing up to that area. There'll be full out riots. There's
hey,
no
Blinken,
way.
you want to go watch a play? It's literally like that scenario.
Let's go check out the Ford Theater.
So it's just, it's pretty frustrating. I mean, and then, we got the ticker at the bottom that the Bahamas Attorney General, Ryan Pender, he worked for Tether, the bank that houses Tether, USDT, the largest stable coin in all of cryptocurrency. So what all does this mean? I mean, there's so many people that know how to benefit from FTX, not only what they were doing when they were making money fraudulently head over foot, but now that it's all collapsed, the you owe me's are just coming in right and left. I mean, this on the screen is the Attorney General for the Bahamas. And now this is the guy that's supposed to take care of SBF
Dude's
and
a Bond
handle
villain.
it for the rest of us. Come on, man.
He does look like a Bond villain.
He looks like a Bond villain straight up.
Sure does.
Just get so deep on, I can't wait for him to testify before Congress. But even that we've discussed is a little weird because he just gave those guys $50-60 million and he's now testifying in front of his friends, essentially, next month in Congress. So what happens? Literally what happens with this is either nothing, which is what it looks like right now, or he gets off.
There's a third option.
What is
third
that?
option is he basically takes a plea to do identity protection and fakes his death and gets plastic surgery and starts eating meat because the soy is too much in that boy.
But, you got his parents who are both professors at Stanford. They had their names on multiple properties owned by FTX that are fraudulently bought.
And he's an MIT
They still
boy.
have their jobs. They still have their bank accounts. Kanye said something that, not a lot of people agree with, understandably, but he just said something and he gets his bank account frozen. It's all over the place right now. It's just wild. And it's crazy. We said, do nothing, stay tight, because this story is going to take a while to unfold. We're just now seeing where the roots in this whole thing go. We've seen it with different assets that don't matter. Now, all of a sudden, FTX owned a tiny little bank somewhere. We're seeing that come out. We're seeing the ties to the Democratic Party. We're seeing ties to institutional professors. We're seeing ties to Attorney General now, who has ties to Tether now. Like so much more is coming. You see, what was it? There was 8 different politicians that tried to block any FTX from basically getting a deep look into FTX months ago. 8 politicians blocked the investigation into FTX, and come to find out 5 of those politicians were paid directly by FTX. There's a trail of money for 5 of the 8 politicians that blocked it. I mean, how deep does this really go? And who is really going to get consequence from it? That's the thing. Not just SBF. Screw him. He's done, right? One way or another, he's done. Yeah. But his parents, different political officials, different people that helped him do all this, knowing what was going on. His core of friends that were his C-suite. There's so many people that should be in jail right now. So many. And we just got to let it unfold, I guess. But it's ridiculous. Not one arrest yet. Not one.
I can't believe they're not already. I really can't. Like, you look back at Enron and the Bernie Madoff situation, and it was immediate. It was
24 hours he was in jail.
Yeah. So,
and this is more than twice the amount of fraud.
This is 2 weeks.
Over double the amount of fraud that Madoff did. Come on.
Sort of. So Bernie Madoff was responsible for $65 billion in fraud. That is the largest in the history of the United States. So
we'll see.
We'll see how deep this goes, but 65 billion is still a massive amount compared to what FTX was involved in. But the tentacles that FTX has and the web that it's created is far greater. I think the story is certainly much bigger with FTX than it was with Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff fucked over a lot of people. $65 billion is a lot of money of people from Main Street, not Wall Street. But FTX is their involvement globally as well as here on our soil is very interesting. It's amazing how much you can just wave a few dollars in front of somebody and you get them to do whatever you want. That's the bigger story here, rather than defrauding them for the amount of money that people.
Yeah, it's nuts. And SBF is going to be testifying, in Congress in front of who? Maxine Waters,
right?
She's about as good as a rock.
Yeah,
come on.
Which is we're going to be reacting to that live. We're going to be live during those hearings, and I actually want to leverage our community. So if there's anybody that's out there that is an attorney that has the ability to comment on such things as we're watching SBF and FTX testify in front of Congress, I would love to have you on our show so that we can kind of get your thoughts on this as well. Or hey, what the hell? If there's a local politician who could give their thoughts on it too, whatever. Well, let's get some thoughts. I would love to get some immediate reactions as we're watching him testify in front of Congress, rather than just us two. I'd love to get some professional opinions on them.
Yep, absolutely. The one last thing, and you can take your tinfoil hat off. This is official information. I mean that. So we saw in Open Secrets, FTX was the second largest financial donor to the Democratic Party. The first was George Soros. George Soros and his son, Alexander Soros, are both part of the World Economic Forum as well. So there's a lot of ties. I'm not, it's only a conspiracy if you're attributing motive. I'm not attributing any motive here, but it's interesting to note that you have those individuals all part of the World Economic Forum, all specifically working hand in hand with politicians that happen to be part of the Democratic Party. That's not a political statement. That's a matter of fact that they are. And so maybe they just have some friends there who grease the palms of some other friends. I don't know exactly what their exact motivations might be, but let's pay attention to those types of connections because it matters for what we're doing in Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to make sure that we're not getting lost on that, right? Like, we're talking about this and we're kind of getting into the conspiracy type of thing, but it all matters and it all ties back into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular, because this is the kind of corruption and centralization that we're trying to get away from, so that less and less of this actually takes place. I mean, you're never going to get rid of it completely, right? There's just going to be bad people out there that are going to do things that because they they want to do them. And we've heard CZ talk about this, right? Like that this isn't this whole FTX debacle isn't an indictment on cryptocurrency, even though the general public may see it that way. It is in fact the actions of one person and a few people in one company. And it shouldn't reflect the overall industry, even though it is, unfortunately.
Yep, and those links are in the chat if anyone's interested in digging them. So,
yep,
perfect. I think that was all we wanted to cover today.
Yep.
We'll make it a short show. We'll make it a short show. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I was really bad at the calls to action today, but make sure you guys check out the links in the description. If you have yet to have bought yourself a cold wallet ledger, check out the links down below. We would love to have your support. And if you haven't bought one, you might as well do it through us and help support the channel in that way. Also, check out our free Discord. The link is in the description there as well. And guys, what else is free? Hitting that like button, hitting subscribe, do all those things. We certainly would appreciate it as we continue to build out this channel and revive it. As always, we have birthdays today. Anna Nicole Smith. Today's her birthday. Yeah. Today,
her show was funny, actually.
It was pretty funny. Not gonna lie. Jarvis Landry is a 29 years old football player, if you guys don't know.
Good one too. LSU, go Tigers.
John Stewart is 59. And then, guys, we have our first ultra famous, I guess maybe not ultra famous, but very famous porn actor today. The legend Lexington Steele is 53 years old. He's best known for Up Your Ass 20, Dark Meat Lovers, Date with the Lexecutioner. That's a fantastic title. Long Dong Black Kong. There is a black mamba in my house, and that is your birthdays for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We certainly appreciate it. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you back on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, keep calm and hot alone, bitches.